Have you ever wondered why some people are able to build wealth, even starting from scratch, while others spend their entire lives struggling to pay the bills? The answer is not in high salaries, luck, or inheritances, but in strategies that almost no one tells you about, and that make all the difference. The truth is that getting rich is not a matter of how much you earn, but rather what you do with what you earn. And in today's video, I'm going to reveal 8 fundamental steps to building wealth even if you earn little. They are simple, practical, and powerful techniques that can transform your financial life once and for all. But be careful, most people have never heard of these strategies. So, if you want to get out of the rat race and start building a solid financial future, stay with me until the end. And before we start, take the opportunity to subscribe to the channel and activate notifications, because here I always bring valuable content that can change your financial game. Now, let's get to the 8 steps. First step, stop thinking like a poor person. A poor mindset isn't about how much money you have in your bank account. It's about how you view money and what you do with it. Many people believe that if they earned more, all their financial problems would disappear. But in reality, without changing their mindset, even if their salary doubled, they'll still be stuck in the same trap, spending everything, living on the edge, and thinking they never have enough. One of the biggest mistakes people with a poor mindset make is seeing money as just something they can use to pay bills and meet basic needs. Rich people, on the other hand, see money as a tool to create more money. They don't ask, "How much does it cost?" They ask, "How much can this earn me in the future?" Another big secret to a rich mindset is understanding that opportunities always exist, but not everyone can see them. People with a poor mindset often reject an idea before even considering it, thinking it's difficult, risky, or not for me. Rich people do the opposite. They test, experiment, and adjust as they go. Want a real-world example? Many people say they want to start a business but then think, "I don't have the money." Meanwhile, a rich-minded entrepreneur thinks, "How can I start with no money? Can I sell first and produce later? Can I find an investor? Can I start small?" The big difference is that the poor mindset sees obstacles, while the rich mindset sees solutions. So, if you really want to get rich, you need to change the way you think about money. Here's a powerful exercise. Every time you catch yourself saying something is impossible, pause and rephrase it. Instead of saying, "I'll never make a lot of money," say, "What can I learn or do to make more money?" Investing is risky. Say, "How can I invest safely and strategically?" "I can't afford that." Say, "What can I do to be able to afford it?" Your mindset can be your biggest obstacle or your biggest advantage. The choice is yours. Part 2. Master your finances like an entrepreneur. If you want to get rich, you need to start seeing your money the way an entrepreneur sees a business. No business survives without a well-managed cash flow, solid financial planning, and a plan for growth. But, curiously, most people manage their own money in a completely disorganized way, without knowing exactly how much comes in, how much goes out, and, worse, where it goes. Here's the shocking truth. 78% of people live paycheck to paycheck, not because they earn little, but because they spend without a strategy. They receive their paycheck and, before the end of the month, they are already counting down the days until the next deposit, often without having the slightest idea of how the money evaporated. Now, imagine that your financial life was a company and you were the CEO. Do you think that a CEO who doesn't know where the company's money is going would last long in the position? Of course not. A successful entrepreneur knows exactly where every penny is being invested and is always looking for ways to optimize resources. So here's the plan. Divide your money into 3 essential categories and treat each one like a department of your personal business. Survival department, fixed expenses. This is the basics: rent, food, transportation, bills. But be careful. Many people increase this department unnecessarily. Want an example? Buying a luxury car with an outrageous mortgage when a simpler model would do the trick. Smart business owners keep their fixed costs low so they always have capital left over. Growth department. Investments. Here's the secret of the rich. They don't spend first and invest what's left. They invest first and spend what's left. This is the money that will work for you, generating passive income and multiplying over time. If you're not already investing, think of it this way. Every dollar sitting in your account is losing value, while every dollar invested is recruiting more dollars to work for you. Freedom department. Dreams and leisure. Getting rich isn't just about accumulating money, it's about having choices. Money should be a means to build a life you love. But here's the trick. Entrepreneurs don't spend impulsively, they plan. If they want a car, a trip, or any other luxury, they create a strategy to pay for it without compromising their investments. Here's a challenge. Starting today, track every penny that comes in and goes out of your personal business. Use an app, a spreadsheet, or even a simple notebook. It may seem like a boring detail at first, but this one change can make you hundreds or even thousands of dollars back each year. If you want to be rich, you need to stop treating your money like an amateur. Think like a CEO and manage your finances as if you were building an empire, because you are. Step 3. Create sources of income beyond your salary. If you depend on a single salary to survive, your financial life is hanging by a thread. And the worst part is that this thread is not under your control. All it takes is one layoff, a crisis at work, or an unforeseen event for everything to fall apart. Now, stop and think. How many people have actually become rich with just one salary? The answer is simple. Almost none. The millionaires and billionaires you admire don't have just one source of income. They have several. The average? 7 different sources of income. This means that while most people are counting down the days until their next paycheck, the rich are always receiving money from different directions, even while they sleep. Now, you might be thinking, but I barely have time for one job. How am I going to create multiple sources of income? The good news is that you don't have to start with 7 at once. You just have to start with 1. And here's the secret. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. Here are some ways to create new sources of income, and, best of all, without having to quit your job. Sell a service you already know how to do. Everyone has a valuable skill. It could be video editing, design, marketing, programming, private lessons, consulting. What do you already know how to do that other people would pay to learn or solve? Platforms like Fiverr and Upwork are full of opportunities. Create an online store with digital or physical products. You can sell ebooks, online courses, spreadsheets, presets, or even physical products without having to have inventory, using the dropshipping model. The best part? Once set up, this type of business can generate automatic income. Monetize your social networks. The digital world offers unlimited opportunities to make money. If you have something interesting to share, create content and turn your audience into income. You can monetize on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, or even with blogs and podcasts. Now, a challenge for you. Don't let this idea die here. Choose one of these options and put it into practice within the next 7 days. Yes, 7 days. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to start. Remember, the rich never depend on a single paycheck at the end of the month. They build bridges for money to flow from different directions. Do you want to continue in the rat race, or do you want to start playing on the team of those who have financial freedom? The choice is yours. Step 4. Pay yourself first. Before paying bills, save some of your money. If you pay everyone else before paying yourself, you'll never get rich. Warren Buffett started out investing small amounts and is now a billionaire. He always set aside some of his money before spending. Set aside 10% of your salary every month, even if it's just $50. The important thing is to create the habit. 5. Cut invisible expenses. What destroys your wealth the most are not the big expenses, but the small leaks that you don't even notice. Review your expenses from the last 3 months and see how much you spent on subscriptions, delivery, or silly interest. Step 5. Cut invisible expenses. What destroys your wealth the most is not the big expenses but the small leaks that you don't even notice. Review your expenses from the last 3 months and see how much you spent on subscriptions, delivery, or silly interest. Cut expenses that don't bring you real happiness and redirect that money to investments. Step 6. Rich people don't get rich just because they make a lot of money. They get rich because they make their money work for them. And the most powerful tool they use to do this? Compound interest. Now, imagine that there is an invisible employee who works for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without ever complaining, without asking for time off, and without demanding a raise. Sounds like a dream, right? This employee exists, and it's called money invested with compound interest. The magic happens because when you invest, it's not just the initial money that grows, but also the interest it generates. And over time, the interest starts to generate more interest, creating a snowball effect that can turn small amounts into fortunes. Let's look at a real-life example. If you invest $200 per month in an asset that yields 12% per year, in 20 years you will have almost $200,000. But if you keep that investment for 30 years, that amount could exceed $700,000, even if you invested less than $100,000 of your own money. Now, think about what happens to those who don't invest. Money simply loses value over time, eroded by inflation. In other words, those who don't use compound interest to their advantage end up falling victim to it, paying more for everything while seeing their purchasing power decrease. So, here's the secret. Start now. It doesn't matter if you have little money to invest. What really matters is time. The sooner you start, the less effort it will take to achieve financial freedom. And where to invest? Stocks, real estate funds, ETFs, your own businesses? The important thing is to choose assets that grow over time and reinvest the gains. Money can be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. The choice is in your hands. 7th step. Have you ever stopped to think about how selling and negotiating are fundamental skills for building wealth? If you want to know the secret of many rich people, I'll give you a clue. They know how to sell, whether it's a product, an idea, or even themselves. Imagine that you have an incredible skill, rare knowledge, or an innovative product, but no one knows about it. What's the point of having something of value if you don't know how to show it to the world? The art of selling is about convincing others to see the value in what you offer, and this is one of the pillars of wealth. And the good news is that selling isn't just for salespeople. What you may not know is that negotiation is involved in every aspect of your financial life. Negotiating your salary, a rental agreement, or even a larger purchase at the supermarket can be what separates ordinary people from prosperous people. Those who know how to negotiate never run out of money. Think about great business people, influencers, or even the people you admire the most. They not only know how to sell their ideas, but they negotiate strategically to maximize their profits. And you know what? They understand each other's psychology, knowing when to compromise, when to be firm, and, most importantly, when to add more value than the suggested price. And finally, have you ever heard the phrase, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with"? It sounds simple, but it's one of the most powerful secrets to success. The truth is that the people around you directly influence your mindset, your behavior, and of course, your financial life. Now, think about it. If you're surrounded by people who talk all the time about financial difficulties, what will your own mindset be like? If the conversation in the group is about government problems, rising inflation, or the lack of opportunities, your thoughts will probably be more focused on fear and scarcity. And guess what that creates? More fear and more scarcity. But what if you started surrounding yourself with people who talk about growth, opportunities, investments, and strategies for creating wealth? These people not only think differently, they act differently. They're always looking for ways to seize opportunities, grow, and prosper. By surrounding yourself with this kind of positive, motivating energy, you begin to see the world not as a place full of limitations, but as a field of possibilities. And here's the key. If you don't have these people around you physically, what do you do? The answer is simple. Look for them in the digital world. We are living in the information age, where you can connect with anyone in the world without leaving your home. Start consuming quality content, like this video, books, podcasts, and audiobooks that talk about finance, investments, and entrepreneurial mindset. If you feel like you don't have a circle of people with a growth mindset, join online groups, attend events and webinars of people who are where you want to go. The internet is full of communities of people with the same goals as you, and by engaging with them, you will be surprised by the power of positive influence. Now, here's the surprising point. A conversation, a book, or even a video like this can change the direction of your life. When you start feeding yourself information that expands your mind and challenges you to think bigger, you will start to act according to these new thoughts and perspectives. And the result? Your behavior will start to reflect what you are absorbing. So, if you want to get rich, surround yourself with the right people, even if they're not in your immediate circle yet. Actively seek out those who have what you want, who speak to what you want to achieve, and who can help you grow in ways you never imagined.